Unexplainable misfortune. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a season in life where everything seemed to go wrong all at once? Your relationships start falling apart. Your finances take a hit out of nowhere. Opportunities you worked so hard for just vanish. And worst of all, you can't explain why. You were doing everything right. You were showing up, giving your best, staying positive, and still, it feels like you're running in quicksand. The harder you push, the deeper you sink. Now listen. Yes, we all go through tough times. Life has ups and downs. But there's a difference between a rough patch and a pattern of destruction. When life keeps breaking down without reason, when progress turns into resistance and peace turns into chaos, it may not be chance. It may be a chain. This is when we have to open our spiritual eyes. Because sometimes what you're facing is not just life happening. It's not just a coincidence. It's spiritual interference. There are people and energies that don't want to see you rise. You may not even know who they are. They don't confront you. They operate in silence. And what they send your way, it's designed to delay your progress. Or worse, destroy it. Think about it. Have you been waking up more tired than when you went to sleep? Losing money without explanation? Seeing friends turn cold overnight? That's not just bad luck. That's a pattern. And patterns always point to a source. You see, when you carry a powerful purpose, when you have light in you, the darkness takes notice. People may smile in your face but envy your spirit. They might see your potential and feel threatened by it. That's when the attacks start. Not with fists, not with shouts, but with whispers, energy, intentions. And it shows up in the physical. Blocked blessings, broken peace, confusion, and fatigue. But here's the truth. You are not powerless. You don't have to just sit there and take it. You can fight back, spiritually, intentionally, boldly. Start by paying attention to the signs. If every step forward is met with resistance, it's time to shift from reaction to revelation. Ask yourself, what energy am I allowing into my space? Who's around me? And how do I feel after being with them? Because spiritual warfare is real, and the enemy doesn't attack the weak, he attacks the worthy. So if you're under pressure, know this. It's because you carry potential. Don't let unexplainable misfortune become your identity. Recognize it. Call it out. Reject it. Because when you stop calling it just a bad week and start calling it what it is, you take your power back. Disturbing dreams or nightmares. Let me ask you a deeply personal question. When you lay down at night, do you actually rest or do you go to war? Because for some of you watching this, sleep isn't peace. It's a battlefield. The moment your head hits the pillow, the nightmare begins. You see dark figures. You feel chased. You wake up in sweat, heart pounding, breath short, and you can't explain why. You might even feel something pressing on your chest, like you're being held down by something unseen. You tell yourself it's just stress. Maybe something you ate. Maybe you just had a bad night. But what if it's more than that? What if your spirit is sounding the alarm and you've been ignoring it? See, here's what I believe. The enemy works while you sleep because fear planted at night grows confusion by day. And when you're asleep, when your body is resting, your soul is wide open. It's your most vulnerable state. That's why attacks often come when the world goes quiet. It's in the silence, the darkness, that things try to slip in unnoticed. Some of you are dreaming of places you've never seen. Abandoned buildings, endless hallways, forests filled with shadows. You wake up exhausted, even if you slept for 8 hours. You feel drained before the day even begins. That's not normal. You're not just tired, you're being spiritually attacked. And listen, I know this might sound strange to some, but if you've ever experienced it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These dreams aren't random. They carry weight, emotion, energy. And the fear you feel in them doesn't leave when you open your eyes. So how do you fight something you can't see? You fight spiritually. You don't go to bed hoping for peace. You go to bed declaring it. Before you close your eyes, pray intentionally. Speak protection over your mind, over your heart. Say out loud, no fear, no darkness, no evil has permission to enter this space tonight. Light a candle, read scripture, play worship music if it helps you feel secure. Guard your soul like you would guard your home, because your peace is sacred. Here's the truth. Not every nightmare is just a dream. Some are warnings, some are weapons. But all of them are opportunities to wake up stronger, wiser, and spiritually aware. You were never meant to live in fear of the night. So tonight, when you close your eyes, do it with confidence. You are protected. You are powerful. You are covered. And the darkness that tried to shake you, it will never win when you rise in the light. Sudden fear or anxiety with no cause. Let me paint a picture for you. You're driving. Everything seems fine. You're not in danger. You're not in a stressful conversation. You're not even thinking about anything negative, and yet, out of nowhere, your heart starts racing. Your chest tightens. Your breath shortens. And this overwhelming wave of fear just crashes over you. You check your surroundings. Nothing. No threat. No reason. No warning. And that's exactly what makes it so terrifying. You're under emotional siege, and you can't even explain why. Now, if that's ever happened to you, you're not alone. More importantly, you're not crazy. What you're experiencing isn't just anxiety. Sometimes, it's a spiritual signal. Because fear is not always born from circumstance. Sometimes it's sent. See, fear is one of the most effective weapons the enemy uses. Not because it physically harms you, but because it paralyzes your potential. When you're afraid, you stop moving. You question everything. You shrink, you hide, you freeze. And here's the thing, fear is not yours. It was placed on you. Let that sink in. This kind of fear often comes out of nowhere because it doesn't originate from your thoughts. It comes from an external energy, a spiritual pressure trying to squeeze the life out of your purpose. I've met people who were thriving, building momentum, ready to step into something great. And just before the breakthrough, fear showed up like a brick wall. Why? Because fear is the gatekeeper between who you are now and who you're becoming. It's the enemy's last-ditch effort to stop you before you grow into the person you were born to be. But let me tell you something important. You don't fight fear with logic. You don't fight fear with denial. You fight fear with faith. When fear rises, so must your faith. You have to speak to it, not from a place of weakness, but from authority. Say it out loud. I am not afraid. I am not weak. I was not created to live in fear. I was created to live in purpose. You've got to take back the emotional real estate that fear has been squatting on. Because fear can't stay where confidence lives, and it certainly can't rule over someone who knows they're covered, protected, and divinely guided. So the next time fear creeps in without reason, pause. Don't panic. Don't run. Instead, recognize it, rebuke it, and replace it with truth. Because fear may knock on your door, but it doesn't get to live in your house. Let's talk about a kind of tired that sleep can't fix. Have you ever woken up more exhausted than when you went to bed? Even after 7 or 8 hours of rest, your body still feels heavy. Your mind feels foggy. And no matter how much coffee you drink, you just can't seem to feel like yourself again. You go to the doctor, they run tests, and everything comes back normal. They tell you it's just stress, maybe burnout, maybe you're just getting older. But deep down your soul is whispering, something isn't right. If that hits home, I need you to lean in, because what you're feeling might not be physical. It might be spiritual. You see, witchcraft doesn't always attack the mind. It drains the body. Slowly. Quietly. This type of attack doesn't show up as some loud, obvious explosion. No. It's subtle. It creeps in like a shadow and starts stealing your energy, one day at a time. And suddenly, you're too tired to do the things you used to love. You lose motivation. Your creativity dries up. Your body aches in places it never did before. You get sick more often. You feel fragile. And emotionally, you start disconnecting from the world. This isn't just being tired. This is oppression. Let me ask you something. Who or what have you allowed into your space lately? What kind of energy have you been entertaining, knowingly or unknowingly? Because sometimes it's not what's happening inside you, it's what's been sent toward you. People who carry jealousy, bitterness, spiritual heaviness. Sometimes all it takes is their presence in your life, or worse, their hidden intentions, and you start to feel it physically. Now, I'm not saying to live in fear, but I am saying, be aware, be discerning, and most importantly, be spiritually guarded. Because when your body is under spiritual attack, your first step isn't just more rest or medication, it's spiritual warfare. Cleanse your environment. Speak healing over yourself. Pray with authority, not with fear. Declare, this heaviness is not mine. This fatigue does not belong to me. I am whole, I am restored, and I am rising again. Play worship music in your home. Open the windows. Let light in. Speak life out loud, because darkness hates the sound of truth. This isn't about being superstitious. It's about recognizing that not all battles are visible. And if what's draining you can't be explained, it's time to stop fighting it in the natural. Start standing in the supernatural. Because the moment you realize your energy is sacred, you'll stop letting it be stolen. And the moment you fight back is the moment you start rising again. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever felt the sting of someone close turning cold? A friend who used to check on you every day now barely returns your texts. A family member who once cheered you on now seems distant, even resentful. And the worst part? You don't know what you did wrong. You replay conversations in your head. You ask yourself, was it something I said? Did I miss something? But deep down, you know, nothing really changed, except them. And that's when the pain hits hardest. Because betrayal doesn't come from strangers. It comes from the ones you trusted the most. But here's what most people never realize. Sometimes, when people turn against you suddenly, it's not about your actions. It's about spiritual interference. Yes, you heard me. Because one of the enemy's oldest tactics is not to destroy you directly, but to isolate you, to cut you off from your support system, to make you feel alone, abandoned, unloved. Why? Because isolation is the perfect setup for destruction. Witchcraft isolates before it destroys. And no, this doesn't always look like potions or rituals. Sometimes it looks like a whisper behind your back, a lie planted in someone's mind, a subtle shift in energy that makes people question your intentions, your heart, your worth, without cause. Suddenly, people start believing things about you that aren't true. And no matter how much you try to explain, it only pushes them further away. So what do? Here's the hard truth. You stop chasing people who were turned against you. If someone can be pulled from your life that easily, maybe they were never meant to stay. And maybe, just maybe, this separation is divine protection. Listen, when God wants to elevate you, He often starts by removing people who can't go where you're headed. It may feel like betrayal, but in time, you'll realize it was preparation. So don't beg for love where it no longer flows. Don't shrink yourself to win back loyalty that should have never wavered in the first place. Instead, stand tall. Let them go. Because what's meant for you will stay. And what leaves was never part of your destiny. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not unlovable. You are protected. You are chosen. And the people who truly belong in your life will never have to be convinced to stay. Let me tell you something that might hurt at first, but it could set you free. Not everyone who starts the journey with you is meant to finish it with you. Some people, no matter how close you were, how much history you shared, or how deeply you loved them, are only meant to be with you for a season. And when that season ends, God doesn't always ask for your permission. Sometimes, He removes them without warning. Why? Because where you're going, not everyone can follow. And I know that's hard to accept. We want the people we love to rise with us. We want them to understand our growth, support our healing, celebrate our success. But the truth is, not everyone will. Some people liked you better when you were broken. Some were more comfortable when you were quiet, insecure, or staying small. Because your growth reminds them of everything they haven't stepped into yet. So when you start leveling up, they start pulling back. And you feel the shift, the silence, the distance, the coldness. Suddenly, the people you thought were permanent start disappearing. But listen to me. This isn't rejection. It's redirection. Let me say it again for the person who's still carrying the weight of, why did they leave? It wasn't rejection. It was redirection. God heard conversations you didn't. He saw intentions you couldn't. And He protected you by removing what couldn't serve your future, even if your heart didn't understand it at the time. Because elevation comes with separation. The higher you rise, the fewer people can breathe at your level. It's not arrogance, it's altitude. You've grown, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and as you grow, you outgrow. It's natural, it's necessary, and it's often non-negotiable. So here's the call. Stop mourning the ones who left. Stop replaying memories and trying to make sense of endings that were always meant to happen. Stop reopening doors that God Himself closed for your protection. Let them go, with love, but without regret. Because every goodbye is making room for someone better. Someone who will walk with you, not against you. Someone who claps when you win. Someone who sees your light and doesn't try to dim it. You don't need an army, you just need alignment. And when you release who was never meant to stay, you open the door to people who were always meant to walk with you into your destiny. So today, let go with grace. Grieve if you must, but then grow. Because your future doesn't depend on who left. It depends on your willingness to move forward without them. Let's talk about something most people don't prepare you for. The moment you start walking in your purpose, when you finally stop shrinking, doubting, or playing small, some people will stop clapping. It's real. You start to glow differently, and suddenly those who used to celebrate you grow quiet. Some even start to compete with you. Others, they talk behind your back. And you're left standing there wondering, what did I do wrong? But here's the truth you need to hear today. It's not about you. It's about their fear of what you're becoming. See, your light doesn't just shine, it reveals. And when you rise, it exposes everything in others that's still stuck, insecure, or hidden in darkness. Your light exposes their shadows. You didn't change to hurt them. You didn't succeed to make them feel small. You're just growing. You're becoming who you were created to be. But not everyone can handle that. Some people were comfortable with you when you were broken, when you were second-guessing yourself, when you were sitting on your dreams. But the moment you start healing, moving, speaking boldly, they feel threatened. They don't see your growth as inspiration. They see it as intimidation. And that has nothing to do with you, and everything to do with them. So what do you do when your elevation reveals their envy? You keep shining. You don't dim your light to make others feel safe in their shadows. You don't downplay your calling just to keep people comfortable. And you definitely don't apologize for growing. Because here's the hard truth. Your purpose will always expose people who were never for you. Some of them were only with you for who you were, not who you're becoming. And when that version of you no longer exists, neither does the relationship. It hurts, I know. But don't let their reaction to your rise convince you to settle. Your calling is too important. Your journey is too sacred. And your future is too bright to be dimmed by people who couldn't handle your light. So here's what I want you to do. When you feel the resistance, when the smiles fade, when the room gets quiet after your success, take it as confirmation. You're on the right path. You're breaking cycles. You're shifting atmospheres. And yes, you're triggering some people. But that's because your presence disturbs the spaces where people have gotten too comfortable playing small. So don't stop. Shine louder, speak bolder, rise higher. Because your growth isn't just changing you, it's revealing everything and everyone that was never meant to stay. Closing segment. It's time to reclaim your power. So now you see it. The patterns, the resistance, the invisible weight you've been carrying. That feeling like something's been holding you back. It wasn't your imagination. You weren't just tired. You weren't just off. You were under attack, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. But here's the good news. Now that you see it, you can fight back. No more walking through life unaware. No more letting the enemy have free access to your thoughts, your peace, your energy. It ends here, right now. I want you to declare this out loud, boldly, like you mean it. What was sent to break me will return to sender. I am covered. I am chosen. I am unstoppable. Say it until your spirit believes it. Say it until fear has no place left to hide. Say it until heaven and hell both know whose side you're on. Because this isn't just motivation. This is spiritual warfare, and you are not defenseless. Every single day, you have weapons, and it's time to use them. Pray with intention, not just to ask, but to declare. Cleanse your space, your home, your heart, your mind. Protect your energy. Don't hand it over to everyone who demands it. Cut off toxic ties, even if they come with guilt. Surround yourself with light, people, music, habits, scripture, things that strengthen your soul. You're not here to play small. You were made for more. And the battle you're in, it's because of the calling on your life. That's why it's been so intense. That's why it's felt so dark. But the pressure isn't here to crush you. It's here to reveal you. Now it's your turn. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, if it reminded you of who you really are, don't let it end here. Like this video. Share it with someone who needs it. Comment below. I reclaim my power, and subscribe, because this is only the beginning. We're going deeper, stronger, wiser, together. And remember this, you're not just protected, you're chosen. You're not just surviving, you're rising. So walk boldly, pray fiercely, and never forget, you were built for this.